Hi, everybody. Okay, so welcome to our Student Affairs Forum. I'm going to start introducing people now in the program, first and second years. My name is Garrett. This is my first year in the SAA program. I've only been here for a couple months, but I love it. I went to Southern Connecticut for my undergrad, and I was an English major. So I'm going to get to our co-host, which is Bree. Bree, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us at our first SAA Conversation series. My name is Bree Petroselli. I'm a second-year graduate student in the Student Affairs Administration program here at Springfield College. I work my assistantship in the Office of Student Affairs for the Dean of Students and the Vice President, and I do my internship in the Office of Student Conduct and Community Standards. And I'm a recent graduate of Western New England University down the road, where I was involved in many student leadership opportunities, and pursuing a career in student affairs and higher education just seemed right. So I've loved my time at Springfield, and I'm really excited to chat with you all today.
Thank you, Bree. Kyle?
Hi, everyone. My name is Kyle. I'm a second year in the Student Affairs program. My assistantship is in the Career Center, and I'm currently interning as the grad assistant for the Alcohol and Other Drugs Office, as well as the Health Promotion Office. Other than that, I went through UConn, was a poli-sci student, and then I found Student Affairs there through Res Life, and then I found this program, just stayed away.
Thank you, Kyle. Laura?
Hi, everyone. My name's Laura. I'm a first-year Student Affairs Administration student at Springfield College. My graduate associate position is in the Office of Student Activities. I come from Western New England, just like Bree. I just graduated a year or so after her. My background is in communications, and I also was involved in clubs and organizations on that campus, and that's kind of what led me here to Springfield College, pursuing a degree in higher education.
Thank you, Laura. Dan?
Hi, everyone. I'm Dan. I'm a second year in the program. I did my undergrad at Siena College in Loudonville, New York, where I got a degree in biology. And I'm currently working in assistantship as one of the graduate community directors on campus in Res Life. And that's it.
Thank you, Dan. Bridget?
Hi, everyone. My name is Bridget. I'm a second year in the Student Affairs Administration program here at Springfield College. I work in the Office of Residence Life as a graduate community director here. I'm also interning in the Office of Student Activities along with Laura. I did my undergrad at Rutgers University in New Jersey, where I was, an RA. I did a lot of hall council, student leadership work. So student affairs was kind of it for me.
Thank you, Bridget. Kenan?
Hey, everybody. My name is Kenan. I'm a first-year student in the Student Affairs Administration program at Springfield. I did my undergrad at Southern Connecticut State University, where I studied communication and minored in marketing. I was also involved in residence life, student life, Greek life, you name it. And then I am also the graduate assistant for community standards in student affairs.
Thank you. Juhi?
Hey everyone, my name is Juhi Dasrath. I am a first-year graduate student here at Springfield College's Student Affairs Administration program. And unlike a lot of you, I have two undergraduates. I started off at Springfield Community College, graduated in 2 years, and was fortunate enough to get full honors to UMass Amherst, where I attended my undergraduate to get my bachelor's degree. From there, I moved to New York and did some really cool things in marketing and decided to come back home to study student affairs here. In my undergraduate, I did a lot of work in the journalism department, did a lot of news packages, talking to students, connecting them with faculty members. I served on student government. A lot like you guys, just a lot of things in higher education. I love it. I found my home here, and I'm super excited to learn all about you and everything that everyone has gone through.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to start off with some questions. It's going to be just an open forum, whatever you guys want to answer. And we'll start with a question based off of sort of Springfield and how you got involved with Springfield, how you connect with Springfield. And so the first question is for anybody to answer, Who and what at Springfield College motivates you to become a student affairs professional? What at Springfield College has helped kept you determined? So if anybody has a first answer to that.
Yeah, so I think I'll chat a little bit. I think that everyone here wants you to succeed and wants you to have opportunities. So I think a big pro of a small institution and a small cohort is opportunities and connections. So whether it be through Patrick or Carrie, our program director and faculty, their connections and the other connections of directors in the student affairs division here at Springfield College, they want to see us succeed as aspiring student affairs professionals, and they want to be the reason that we have opportunities and round out our experiences here full and ready to take on whatever chapter is next. So I think what keeps me here and what motivates me is the energy I see from upper level management and staff members that in turn makes me want to make a great impact at where I go next, but also makes me feel fulfilled that I'm taken care of and I'm thought of.
Thanks, Bree.
I'd love to piggyback off of that if
Go
I
ahead.
could. So, like I said, I just recently moved back from New York, and I decided to apply to Springfield College pretty late in the game. I applied, I think, on a Friday, the Monday before classes started. And I had that entire week prior to do it. When I reached out initially to Dr. Love, I sent the email and I said, hey, I know this is kind of crazy. This is where I'm at. I'd really like to give it a shot. Is it too late for me to apply? And within 24 hours, not only did he give me an answer as to whether or not I could apply, but he connected me with Carrie. He gave me all these resources for assistantships. I was introduced to Bree. It was great. It was rapid. It was fast. It was quick. I had to respond pretty quickly and make a decision whether or not, this was something I was serious about. And before I could even make a decision, I knew that my application was in, and it was just wonderful to know that I wasn't even a student yet. Was maybe considering coming to Springfield College, and I was connected with the right resources to make me feel included right away. So for me, it's not one specific person, it's the department itself. And coming from a big university like UMass Amherst, it was wonderful. But I enjoyed being a part of a small major where all of my professors knew who I was, what I was doing, what I was into, and that can now carry through at Springfield College during my graduate degree.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. Anyone else have any thoughts?
I'll kind of piggyback on both of them. I think similar to Juhi, I applied pretty late in the game, and the outreach and like compassion that Patrick Love and the other folks at the school showed towards someone trying to get an education was just like really helpful in the process. And like I really can't thank them enough for like how they've helped me along. But I also think in general, the community aspect that Bree was talking about, the compassion, the care that everyone really shows, it's like a team effort. Like every folks who work in student affairs know what it was like to be a student affairs grad student. So there's like an overwhelming sense of like understanding and togetherness that I feel like doing an internship in a different office and getting to work with other grad students. I think it's something it was everything I was hoping it would be. And it actually turned out to be that. So it's just so nice to feel that there's like such like a family and community here on campus that, like Juhi, I went to a really large public undergrad institution, and it's like so different, like complete 180. So it's nice to know that there's like connectedness at any type of school you go to, especially this one.
Great, thank you so much for sharing. If there's any other comments on this,
I can piggyback off of Bridget.
Go ahead.
So the reason I stay motivated in the program at Springfield College is because of how enthusiastic my colleagues and my supervisors are about student affairs work. Not only are they consummate professionals in the offices that they're a part of, but they're excited to come to class each day and come to work each day, which makes me excited about the learning process and becoming the best student affairs professional that I can be.
Awesome, thank you so much. I'm going to go into sort of going off of that. what was it that sort of made Springfield College home? What was it in particular that said, okay, I want to go here. I know this is right. And going off of that, additionally, do you think the Springfield College community, how does that help you stay present in the moment, present in your goals? Any thoughts on that?
I can share what kind of made me feel like I was at home when I visited Springfield College for the first time. So I was introduced into this program from one of my advisors at Western New England, and she directly just set me up for the meeting with Dr. Love so I can learn more about the program and higher education and student affairs at large, because it's kind of when I was just introduced to this career path in life. And right when I visited him and had a meeting, I could see how passionate he was. When I walked into his office, he had expo marker like notes all over his window, and he just like has this vision to grow the program. And it was kind of like eye opening just to see that someone had that much passion to do something and kind of go forth and change what a program is. And now we have Dr. Carrie Taylor on our team, and she's just a great professor. And I think it's the communication and like that passion that I saw in that initial meeting that drew me to this college, and the communication that continued after that was great. And it kind of made Springfield College stand out much more than the other institutions, big and large, that I was applying to. And, at the end of the day, made me decide to come here. And I'm already enjoying it just a couple months in.
Thank you so much. Does anyone else have any comments on that?
I do.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, like I said previously, when I had reached out, there were so many resources and just so many things thrown at me at once, but like in a good way. It was one of those things where it's like, all right, this is what you're gonna do. This is what you do next. This is who you talk to for this. Yada yada yada. For me, it's very unique because I live down the road from Springfield College and have never set foot on campus, and it feels like home in a weird, distant way. When I think about the college, I know that it's there. Um, but for me, what makes the connection for me is being able to send an email. I have Carrie's cell phone number, and I think we all have Carrie's cell phone number. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things where if I need to talk to my professor, I can call her, I can text her. And it's just a very unique experience. I've had one other professor like that in my undergraduate degree, and you lose touch, but I feel like in a graduate program like ours, we have the benefit of being so small that we can call our teacher on herself, or her professor rather. That's what helps me feel at home at Springfield College for someone who lives down the road and has never set foot on the campus. It's just an awesome feeling.
Yeah, thank you. Kind of going off of my experience, I actually was first introduced to Springfield College by Bridget, and I felt so welcomed during that conference that I met her at. And going to visit campus in December, Bree giving me a tour. It was 11 degrees out, and we toured the whole campus, but it was lovely. I felt really welcomed, and I've never felt. I went through the process last year, and no school or staff made me feel as welcome to Springfield College, which is ultimately why I came here, because I felt like I can email, I can give my concerns about assistantships or whatnot, and I felt somebody was there to honestly give me feedback and give me an answer. So that's my experience with the college. I feel so welcomed by staff, and now working here, when I have to contact an office, I mean, I've never experienced such nice people. So that's my experience. If anyone else has an additional comment on this.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can touch base after. Oh, you can go, Kenan. All good.
I was going to say, similarly to Garrett, I was applying to grad schools this past year. And what truly brought me into the Springfield College community was when I attended the Student Affairs Administration Springfield College Roadshow at my institution, where I met Bree and Dan. And they presented on it, and they answered all my questions, all of my many questions. And I remember just being super nervous about getting an assistantship or applying to schools and interviews and things like that. But throughout the process, Bree and Dan had supported me. Bree had constantly been in emails with me. I remember Dan at the end of the road show, you came up to me and gave me interviewing tips that, I just didn't expect you guys to be this supportive or this helpful. Even in just my interviews with other institutions, that's what really drew me in.
Great.
Oh, that's so kind. You're welcome for the tour and you're welcome for the emails. I'm just kidding. No, but I think that that personal touch is a testament, right, to what it means to be an active member of the Springfield College community and in this program. And I joke around and we all have this great relationship, but it's like when we were helping out, recruit and help folks through the admissions process, like we were so excited to be connected with potential students and prospective students. And we were just them a year ago and we know what it's like and the bumps in the road that we hit. And if we could kind of mitigate those in any other way to help support, incoming folks, that's what we wanted to do. And so for me, that's one of the most dynamic and exciting parts of my role is the outreach and, being in touch with people who are excited and have energy to be in this field. So I think that what everyone else has kind of said, just to sum it up, the personal touch, you don't get it everywhere. And when you do find it, you really enjoy it and thrive off of it. Let's go on to our next question. So as you can tell, we're made up of, the first and the second year cohort. So let's talk benefits of being in a small cohort, being active members in our cohorts. And then maybe we can also turn to talk about at times, the struggle of being in a small cohort too.
I will start this one. I think the benefits of it is one, in-class accountability, because you have to absorb all the materials. I know Bridget and I talk about this all the time because we both came from massive universities where you're one person in a sea of faces. Your instructors, your professors, your program directors probably don't know who you are unless you're hounding them with emails. Almost in this case, it's the other way around. Like I get emails from Patrick and Carrie all the time. Like we're over-informed about any possible ways to get involved with student affairs. I can't even begin to number the opportunities. We probably even got an email this week alone with conferences and informational sessions and stuff like that. And then just going into the cohort, it really just builds your teamwork, I guess. There's 4 of us in each section. So we kind of have to lean on each other. Everyone knows everyone's going to equally contribute to everything. I don't really know if there's any struggles personally. Group projects are pretty bleak. It's one pair of 2 presenting to 2 people. So that's a little interesting. But other than that, yeah, I don't really have any negatives. That's all I have to say on it.
Thanks, Kyle. I appreciate it. Anybody else want to jump in and answer this so we can hear some other perspectives?
Yeah, I can. One thing that is a huge benefit is it's like we're so close knit because we really don't have a choice. So the one specific example that gets brought to me is I had a sudden loss of a family member and we had like a big assignment due, and I was able to just shoot a quick text like, hey guys, dealing with something, and Bree, Kyle, and Bridget were able to just kind of be like, hey, don't worry, we got it. The professor, Carrie, Patrick, they were all super understanding about it. And I think had it been a larger cohort, it would have been easy to kind of get lost in it and not feel that support from everybody. So it's definitely like having those close and meaningful relationships is a massive benefit of the small cohort.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anyone have anything else to kind of chime in on? But I think that we're all kind of hitting the same things. Yeah, Juhi, that would be awesome.
Oh yeah, I was just from a first year perspective. It is, coming into it, it's weird because you still have this like childish nature about you from your undergraduate, and you want to be that silly whatever student, but you're also trying to be a professional, at least as a first year student. And this is how I feel. And maybe Laura, Garrett, and Kenan can attest to this. But, I personally, I love them. I was nervous coming into it. We have our own little group chat. It's great. It's awesome. In particular to COVID, it's been weird, right? Like we're all remote, we're all just doing just what we can, where we can. Like I'm in my sister's room right now because people are crawling around my house. So this is the only quiet spot, you know. But I say that because we are all able to lean on each other and do like divide up the readings, and that's one of the awesome benefits of like a small cohort. It's like you take on this responsibility, you do this, you do that, and then we'll come together. We can all edit in a Google Doc together and get work done 4 times as fast because it's 4 of us, you know. It's great that you can still be your goofy self and be professional and not even be in the same place.
I love that. We, as second years too, are super appreciative of Google Drive and the capabilities to kind of divide and conquer, because outside of school, we have other obligations, whether that be work or assistantships, family, just fun, etc. So we get what it's like to be busy, and you know, that's a big savior for all of us. Let's transition into talking about SAA classes. Maybe the second years and the first years can weigh in about what we're taking, what competencies we're kind of touching base on, and what we're learning in those classes.
I can start. The one class that we're taking, all the second years are taking, is counseling diverse populations, which I really like the class. It's definitely a lot of good discussion happens there, and it definitely helps us better understand how to support our diverse students, which I feel like, especially with today's day and age, you know, it's something that we need to talk about because we haven't talked about it before. So it's a really eye-opening class, lots of good information, and it's definitely, there's so many things that I've already taken away from it, and we're not even at the halfway point that, you know, I'm putting into my professional practice every day.
I can talk about one of my like favorite courses so far this semester. I do agree with Dan. I am enjoying the counseling course that we're all taking, and I'm definitely already learning like a lot of new skills that I wasn't so familiar with before coming into this program. But as first year students, we're in the Introduction to Student Affairs course with Carrie, which I'm really enjoying because it allows us. Right now, we have like a paper due on Thursday, and it's allowing us to kind of divulge ourselves into an area of student affairs that we're prospectively thinking about going into. So like personally, the paper I'll be handing in on Thursday is about Title IX, which is something, you know, I'm just interested in learning more about the laws behind different things within student affairs and higher education. So it's really nice to already get that opportunity a few weeks into the semester and also a few weeks into the program at large to see, you know, do I really want to go into this area of student affairs, and kind of proving to myself, you know, why I started the program and that there's a lot of reasons to stay within this career path.
That's awesome. Thanks so much, Laura. I think in terms of the second years, I'm going to touch upon a class we're in now, Student Affairs Competencies 3. We're in this course, and it's a modular course, so it's preparing us all things budgeting, fundraising, you know, the job search, and things of that nature. We have a really big assignment due tomorrow, and it's create a budget. Petra gave us free reign. Create a program that's not at Springfield College that you want to see here, create a student group that you want to see here, and make a budget. What turned into what I thought might be a really daunting task turned into something that I was surprised by. So, you know, the ability to have the free reign and also the knowledge and experience of, you know, leaning on the directors of different programs to help me kind of compile a budget, and what does that look like, and $75,000, you know, adds up pretty quickly. And so for me as a rising professional, and, you know, managing those, you know, those tools and those skills was a really great assignment, but also a practical assignment. So I think a lot of the things we see here is a balance of theory and student development, and then also, you know, practical skills, like what's going to be upcoming for that job search. Do you need supervisory skills? Do you need budget refreshers? You know, what kind of things are we looking at here, and who can we talk to get that from? Any other classes we want to talk about? I know second years are also in a fieldwork opportunity class we had shared before, where our internship sites are. That's a 150-hour fieldwork assignment for the semester. That's a really rewarding class. It meets monthly, and you really, you know, get to flesh out a different area of student affairs that, you know, you hadn't gotten to see before, and spend some time in another discipline. So first years, you'll be, you know, starting one of those next semester, and we're rounding out our second experience already, but I think that's one of the most dynamic classes, you know, an experience and also a grade for that. It's really rewarding. Anyone else have anything they want to talk about classes before we kind of transition to what's it like a day in the life?
I was just going to say something really quick in
Yeah.
building off of like what both you and Laura had said. both in tandem of like practical and theory. Carrie does this thing where I noticed she has like her first paper that she did, it was a paper about like who do you think you want to be in student affairs, and then the second paper is that's due this week is our issue paper, right? And we're talking about building a policy around a student affairs functional area that we're interested in, and then our next paper is about a functional area that we want to discuss and discover more about. So it's just interesting to see how one class builds on the past assignment, and then our 671 class equity and inclusion builds on our 651 class, and just how everything connects. It's great.
Thanks so much for sharing that one. Anyone else have anything before we just move on quickly? No? All right, awesome. So I think that's just kind of an overarching question. First and second years might respond a little bit differently, but in all things, in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic, maybe talking about some challenges or the effects of your work, and maybe even just like the outlook or motivation you have on some things. If we can kind of talk through that, that's real right now. We're all kind of combating that in a different way, but it's really important to talk about. So if we can just spend some time talking about COVID-19, the effect, the outlook, but also mention, some areas of support that our program has able to give.
I would love to start us off on this conversation. Hot topic, I'm currently in quarantine. We love COVID. We love college students. We love working in residence life. But it's, like things come up, and I was kind of put in this situation, but, feeling like literally our vice president for student affairs is my program director. He knows exactly what I'm going through. It's stressful. I'm helping students. I am a student. I'm a part-time employee. Things come up. So they know if I may have gotten an extension for our paper that's due tomorrow, maybe not. So it's kind of like they know what's going on, and everyone is so involved. So it's so comforting to know that the person I'm reaching out to like knows what's going on. They know what everyone's going through. They know it's stressful. And I can say like that's probably happening in a lot of colleges, but from my experience, like I don't imagine like it could have gone any better than it did here. And the support that I've received as not just a staff member in residence life, but a student as well has been like I'm so grateful to all the hands that have been reaching out, getting to check in with Bree or Laura really quickly, seeing Dan helping out as a fellow staff member in residence life and things like that. It really like keeps spirits high, even though work can be, messed up so quickly because of something that comes up. We've all obviously had to learn how to like work on a team, be flexible, be adaptable. And it's definitely representative now. So I'm really grateful for, the program, all the folks here, because things happen, but I think like we're learning, like this is an experience, like obviously I'm learning from right now. So yeah.
Bridget, if you need groceries or a Dunkin' run, just let one of us know. We'd be happy to come on over. Anyone else have, COVID-19 kind of affecting their routines or outlook that they'd want to share in the midst of their transition, either coming to Springfield College and or completing their second year?
I think in terms of routine, it made me really, really happy to come into work. Getting stuck at home for that long wasn't super great. And then I thought I was going to be having to work remote from home. But surprise, I'm here 4 days a week. So that's good. And then in terms of looking forward, it makes you scared because we're going to a job market that is like nothing we've ever seen. So that's great. There's no information on it. Super great. But I think the plus side is there's so many conferences now that are online that initially we wouldn't have access to. And I do know that the placement exchange is going online this year as well. And that was going to be in Nevada, I think. So that just saved me a bunch of money. So I think you do still have to pay to get in there, but it's a lot less. And then you just hop in and then just Zoom interviews. And then we're all going to be Zoom pros by then. So it'll be easy. I think access to information is a lot better, which sounds weird. Like I know I'm focusing on like the plus side here, but there's a lot more access to information. Conferences aren't 3 hours away. Yeah, that's really it. I think it's going to be good for us. I mean, by the time May comes around, we're going to have like a full list of certificates. So
I I think that's a really good point. There's a silver lining in all of this, and whether that's, less money on travel or conference registration fees or organizational fees, people have information and they want to share it at such an important time. So I think that our program specifically has done a great job of taking advantage of that. And, whether the reminder emails from Patrick or Carrie or us kind of coordinating together, like ACPA, NASPA, Student Leadership Conference, like what are we thinking? I think it's really great to bump ideas off of each other. If not, anyone else have any pointers on this? And then Garrett's going to lead us into our last two of the day.
All right, well, thank you. I will say that just real quickly, as far as, me and the first years, I'm sure how great, how kind of nervous we were during the summer to find out whether or not we were actually going to be able to come here. And so now that we are, and I see all these students, I walk around campus and I never see anyone without a mask. Everyone's following the rules because we want to be here. And I think that says a lot about our campus, is that we all want to be here really badly and we take it very seriously. So to go into our next question, sort of, if thinking of sort of your higher ed life, who and what is your inspiration in higher ed, and why? So what inspires you? Who inspires you to be here and to do this for a long time for your career?
I can start. I mean, my inspiration personally it's my students. I was an RA for 3 years in undergrad, and now I'm working as a community director here. And so just getting to work with my students and be able to like watch them grow as people, kind of reminds me every single day of why I'm in this, even on the tough days, where, because everyone has them, where you're just like, man, like, today was just off. Like, is this, still what I want to do? And it's the good always outweighs the bad when I think of, the students that I get to interact with every day, and that, I can see like them grow and develop. And it's just, thinking about all that is definitely what keeps me going on the tough days.
Thank you so much. Does anyone else have a comment on that? Who inspires you? What?
I can comment on that. So going off of what Dan said, I would say honestly being able to be a person to provide help for students. A lot of the times during my undergrad, just with some of the positions that I held on campus, students would know to reach out to me because they knew that I would be able to point them in the right direction, or just go ahead and take their issue off of their shoulders and get it sorted out myself, and get some action plans in place to help better a situation. So I think now that's really what moves me forward, is just knowing that I'm going to have better skills, and a degree under my belt to keep doing that. And it's just nice knowing that people feel comfort, going to for something. And it's just great. And it's kind of like a nice thing to think of when that's going to be something that I'll have with me for the rest of my life, during a career.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. Sort of to finalize this this lovely conversation, I'm going to ask one final question, and I want to end on a piece of advice that you would give anyone who's looking for graduate schools. Why Springfield? Number one, why Springfield? Why do you recommend our school? And also, just in general, what advice do you have for them on this search? Obviously, it's very stressful. We've all been through it. What kind of advice would you want to give them?
I'd love to chime in. So I know, throughout like my grad school search, I personally chose like non-negotiables for what I'm looking for in an opportunity. Those things were like tuition coverage, which if I'm pretty sure it's like all student affairs ones are like equitable across the board now with what tuition coverage looks like. They also come with a stipend, which is like, payment, pay for your work. And that was like a non-negotiable for me. So to have this opportunity come with like such care and such community behind it, as well as what I was looking for in like a practical learning experience along with my higher ed program, was what I was looking for. And with what I needed in the timeline I had, like this was the opportunity. So I took it. So I'm really happy about that. But I think in general, Springfield to me was just like a new opportunity. I grew up in New Jersey. I went to school in New Jersey. I've never lived in New England. I literally had never visited campus before moving here. in the August of whenever I moved here. So I kind of was like, look, like I'm just gonna go for it because like this is like an opportunity to spend 2 years in a place that like I've never been, I've never lived in, to like experience a new, community and culture and like be able to like, grow as like an adult in the world, I guess. But, I think it's just like, go for it. And like that's just kind of what I was like, doing, living my life. So yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. Anyone else?
Yeah, real quick. Springfield for me, many of the folks down the road at WNE are alums of the program. I felt most connected to a referral. Hearing from them the experiences they had really, intrigued me to pursue, what opportunities existed, down the road and across the lake. And so for me, it was that connection, the facilitation of people being like, hey, reach out to Dr. Patrick Love, like he wasn't the program, director when I was there, but I know great things are still happening there and you should pursue it. And then like Bridget said, the opportunity to get a practical experience while working and then getting some sort of compensation for it. And so the roles that most of us sit in, are comprised of that stipend piece, the experience piece, and then also the tuition remission piece. And for me, coming out of a 4-year private institution, my mom was like, we really have to think about what finances might look like. And so when I was able to call her and be like, I just got this whole position, like, oh my goodness, like, and you sit there and you think about how much that position actually means, but you get like an $8,000 stipend, but if it's $1,000 a credit for a 42 credit program, right, things can add up. And so before financial aid, that was a daunting thought. So, the experience and the role that I'm in now, so grateful for. But like Bridget said, make your list and ask your questions. Don't sell yourself short. And then just utilize those resources because the opportunity for you is out there. You just got to find, which gate it's at and which one's going to work out the best. So that's what I would leave you with.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I want to thank everybody for participating in this so we can give some graduate students or potential graduate students some advice. Thank you so much for joining and for participating, and have a good day.